only is this a classic in the Jon Renau line, I think the style is also just a really classic, classy bob style cut. It's timeless, it never seems to go out of style. We're looking at about a 7.5 inch fringe area here, and I think that's really why this is so universally flattering. This style looks great on everybody I've seen it on, but that 7.5 inch layer just goes to frame the face so nicely. Kind of gives it a little bit of a modern flair, reduces some of the bulk around the sides from the old traditional heavier bob style cuts. So in the back, you're looking at about 13 inches from the crown to the tip of the hair in the back. Now there is a 3.5 inch undercut nape here as well that really gives you some amazing coverage and a lot of styling flexibility. There's about a 7.5 inch layer here on the sides. And Kristen has a hand-tied lace front and is open top, sides, and back. Let's take a look at the lace front. So I think this is really well done. Now on this color, the rooting is not terribly dark. And based on the fine fibers, it looks very, very nice. So while I'm up here, let's take a close-up look at this Palm Springs Blonde. This was released in 2018. In their California Blondes collection, FS17, 101, S18. It's a combination of some ash blondes, actually some pearl kind of white in there as well. And all of that is on a dark ash blonde root. So I think you can really tell that Kristen has some beautiful fine fibers here. These fibers are like a very fine silk. Very silky, soft, separated. Jon Renau fiber feels amazing. I think they've done a great job at improving their fiber over the years. Now, based on Kristen being a classic bob cut, you're going to see a lot of hair on Kristen. It's not too overdone though. I mean, it's not too thick as if to look unnatural. It's just thick enough to give that classic look and that salon fresh kind of cut. So these razored ends kind of feather in again around the face, making it super flattering. So Kristen has a lot of permatease. Now you can really put it to work for you though. Right out of the box, you're going to see where that part is kind of in a weave pattern and it's stuck down into the permatease. You're going to have to shake out the wig really well if you plan to keep the style. Shake the wig out really well and then get in with a wide tooth comb and just sort of spring those fibers up away from that bed of permatease. That's going to create some very flattering volume on the top. And I think when it comes, it's kind of wants to part a little bit left of center, but of course with an open top, you can part it wherever you like. I parted it here on the left, which I normally do, and then I took the heat of my hands with the heel of my hands. I redirectioned the root to bring the hair up and away from the face. So I did not use any product or anything in this hair, just simple heat from my hand. The root is the key to making your hair fiber do what you want it to do, because whatever direction that root is in is where the rest of the shaft is going to follow. Quite a bit of permatease on Kristen. You can get some volume. So if you like a bigger, more rounded look, I think you can achieve that. But also if you want more of a subdued style, I think it would be very easy to use the same heat from those hands to get in there and just compress that permatease a little bit to really narrow the style and make it a little bit of a slimmer profile around the face and the head. So Kristen weighs about 3.75 ounces, and this cap fits true to average. I did not make any adjustments to the cap. It's just slightly loose. I think I'll go ahead and make a small adjustment for a petite average circumference. There does seem to be a little bit of stretch here, but I wouldn't go so far as to say that it would fit a large circumference. So I have Jon Renau KRISTI in the color 22 F16 Blonde Brownie, which is not a rooted blonde. And I want to do a couple of comparisons. I want to compare the two styles because, again, I'm drawing the conclusion that the KRISTI is just a luxurious hand-tied version of Kristen. And they can definitely be sister styles, so you could keep one for good and one for every day with probably it would go unnoticed. So let's take a look first of all at these colors. The 22 F16 is a dark ash blonde with some lighter ash blonde highlighting. So it's a very ashy tone color. I don't see any gold in this color, and it is not rooted. But next to the Palm Springs blonde, which is an ashy base tone with some white and an ashy root, the Palm Springs blonde actually is a lot cooler in tone than the 22 F16. Before the Palm Springs blonde, the 22 F16 was really the coolest and lightest blonde tone in that Jon Renau line. So Kristi and Kristen both feature that same front piece here at about 7.5 inches. Now the layering is only slightly different between the two. You're gonna get a bigger, more fuller, rounder look out of the Kristi versus the Kristen. Now Kristi is completely hand-tied with the lace front and monofilament top, whereas Kristen just has the lace front and then is open top, sides, and back. So again, I think you're gonna be able to get maybe a little more lift out of the Kristen because of the permatease there on the top. So here I am wearing the Kristi. Completely hand-tied, and you can already see the layering hits just a little bit differently around the face, giving it a more of a classic round look on the sides. But all in all, it's very, very similar. It's bouncy, it's swingy, but it doesn't have the razored, the more modern tapered ends and razored ends that the Kristen does. So did you like this comparison? I have one more comparison to make. If you go over to the Wig Studio 1 channel today, I have up a video on the Jon Renau's Kristen, and we do compare that to the Rene of Paris's Kai. I think there's two really distinct type of wig wearers, even though they're both sleek, short bob style cuts. Thanks for joining us. Seem to fit nicely between the ear and the ear tab on this style. Ear tucks are going to be a big deal on this style. It's easily tucked. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me today for a review of the Jon Renau's classic Kristen in the color Palm Springs Blonde. See you next time on TAZSWIGCLOSET at Wig Studio 1.